Hello and welcome back to my Let's Challenge of BioShock. In the last episode, we started our adventure here in the beautiful forest here in Arcadia, and now, having collected a sample of Rosa Gallica for Dr. Julie Langford, it is time for us to return it to her, and let's see if the trees down here, the trees in the forest under the sea are, in any way rescuable. We'll see if we can actually, rescue the trees and rescue Rapture in many ways, because it's not like you can really, as Dr. Langford aptly says, it's very difficult to I'm clicking the wrong button for aim right now. That's why I was consistently swapping to telekinesis there. But oh well. Ooh. Let's try this. Okay. We have slightly more health than last time. Let's put security bullseye in. Got to be a little careful with like the mines and stuff. But we should be fine here, just as he continually deals with the security forces that are going to. This is why security bullseye is one of my favorite plasmids. It just is has so many good uses, and I can essentially finish off this Big Daddy without even laying a finger on him. Shooting at me or not? No, he's still shooting at those guys. Cool. Get absolutely wrecked. I mean, I could have been taking photos throughout that, and probably should have been. This is, again, the sort of thing when you don't quite remember these things. Little sister. Oh, subject research complete. What, you're saying we have complete research of Little Sisters? Never. Surely not. Or maybe it was looking at the Rosie instead. But no, even that, it would say something else.
Thank you. Thank you.
Huh. I'm very surprised if we've managed to get full research on Little Sisters already. It doesn't look like there's any way that we can actually, unfortunately, find the research that we have here, which is a little annoying. I can't remember if there's definitely in like the second game, which is why we end up with, which is why I'm probably thinking of it, but, interesting. Anyway, okay, so that is that. That is our second little sister done. Lovely. And now we can head through here.
You brought the Rosa Gallica? Oh, what are you waiting for? An engraved invitation? Send it through the new loan. Yes, this is perfect. Perfect. Come on up to my office. I'm letting you in now. I think I've got just the thing to put the green back in this forest.
So we get hacking experts here, which means we have fewer alarm tiles and fewer overload tiles, as you can see. A very handy thing, and with our newfound Adam, we can probably actually buy that if we want to.
Anything in this damn place those pagans won't steal? Paper towels, ink pots, witch hazel, chlorophyll solution, even my back issues of National Geographic. They're feathering their disgusting little shrines with it, I suppose. Sick bastard.
So they talk. She's obviously talking about the shrines. So obviously we have a security shutdown in here. There is quite a lot of security here in Langford's lab.
Plant woman spends 4 years coming up with ways to defoliate trees in the Pacific to scare out the Japs. And now here I am, down at the bottom of the Atlantic, trying to figure out how to do the same thing in reverse. Bathtub Jeep times the atom bomb, times Eve with a serpent. Let's go see what it can do.
Okay, so we'll hack that. Lovely. Yeah, we might as well. It's well worth sort of just going through the area, making sure that you sort of familiarize yourself with this area, because we will be doing some serious. There will obviously be a serious battle later on here, if you hadn't guessed already. So. Another vending machine. $202. That is expensive as hell. Is that because it's crazy difficult? Give me something. Whew, that was close. I'll do that just to stall it. Oh, what a hack. That was very, very good. And we are rich, so we might as well buy what we can. Certainly get up to 8 at least of each. It's always worth doing. The U-invent. There's our electric gel. That's going to be incredibly valuable to us. And we have an impossible hack, so another auto here. It's well worth us hacking those just for now. There's another turret, a wrench that you can just randomly pick up. I guess it's because it's, you know, counts as another weapon, but it's of no use to us really. Napalm. Anything else? Well, no, we can just head straight through and then talk to Langford. As once more you get one of these lovely sort of reminding you of exactly where you are in the, you know, in the world so far under the ocean. So there she is. There's Langford.
Julie, we made a business deal, you and I, did we not? Money changed hands. Let me read to you from the agreement. Section 3, subsection 4.
Mr.
Ryan Industries maintains exclusive rights to the creation, use, and exploitation of the Lazarus vector. Ownership of civilization.
Wait, no, please.
Without it, madness.
Mr. Ryan!
Every time we get a yard ahead, Ryan goes and moves the goal line down to the other side of the field.
So unfortunately we see obviously that Julie is killed by Ryan for trying to help us.
I've been killing trees for 25 years. At Berkeley back in the 20s, on the Japs at Iwo Jima. But I never brought one back from the grave before. I did, Becky. Mama's gonna build her first damn Frankentree. I'm gonna call my little creation the Lazarus Vector. Maybe it'll bring the old gal's career back from the dead as well.
So we'll hack this as we hear that obviously we have this Lazarus vector, this ability to sort of rebuild or even, you know, build these trees. And what's more? And then yes, so obviously well, the idea is that Julie's been writing the code to the safe over there on the door, so we have 9457. It's very important because we can head into here. 9457 allows us to open the safe, which gives us access to the market.
Genius if the only ones around to appreciate it are a bunch of spliced up morons. I've cracked the vector, or at least I'm 99% certain I have. I just need a bud of Rosa Gallica to confirm my analysis. Distilled water, a bit of chlorophyll, and enzymes extracted from Apis mellifera. That's right, sweetheart. Honeybee spit.
So there we go. We now know the items that we need. We need chlorophyll, we need water, and we need, or well, distilled water to be precise, and we need so if you ever wanted just a quick sort of practice with the chemical thrower, now you get your chance. So yeah, so obviously we get those 3 items that we need to find. Some, as she calls it, honeybee spit. We need to get electrovolt as our plasmid. Go down here and hack. We'll buy out this time. And now we can make our way through this one. Lovely. So get the camera, we got the turret. Now I remember exactly why we needed to do all this. There's a Houdini around. Let's keep an eye out for him. And a Rosie, obviously. So Rosie is now... Rosie loot almost called rare invention materials. That's quite cool. So that must be stage 3, I guess. Houdini. Easier to predict where Houdinis are going to teleport. I'd rather you didn't destroy my turrets right now, but unfortunately you can't get everything. Mainly because, again, obviously the turrets are quite useful for later on. Ah, damn. Okay, so we'll zip through here. That's that, lovely. That gets that turret online for us. Ooh, it's going to be tempting if he gets a little sister. Does he have a little sister? Doesn't look like it. It may well be that we've already taken out too many around this area, and now we actually need to wait for the next sort of section. I don't think there's been a health station around this area, so that kind of sucks. Oh no, there is. Yeah, okay, so we have Langford's office. We've done virtually everything in this area, and what's next is... So yeah, so we need 7 distilled water and 7 enzyme samples. And we don't need any chlorophyll because we've already been smashing that by taking out all of the Houdinis and... the Houdinis and the, you know, the various little sort of setups they have.
If you're looking for something in particular, I'd start at the farmer's market.
Okie dokie, first aid kit, lovely. Leadhead that's died recently, lovely. And now we head through this area, which we'd been to just earlier. Lovely. It's very satisfying when you know it's everything's working nice and efficiently. Come on then. Good. Okay, cool. See if the little sister arrive. We don't need, again, we don't really need to do the second one here, but it'd be nice. Ah, we've already got both the little sisters, that's why they're not turning up. Oh, that's a bit silly. Okay, so the only way currently is across up here, and it is available, awesome. We're scraping through these hacks at the moment. No more verticals, okay, so we need to go you, and you, lovely. Really good, really, really good.
Welcome to the circus of value.
Nice. I forget that because this area sort of splits between both the Arcadia section and the Farmer's Market section, that we actually get sort of the Little Sisters are split over them too. Looks like a pretty easy hack. Famous last words, yes. Sometimes the best move is that, just sort of getting it away from that direction that it's automatically heading in and just being like, nope. Butte. And inside are a bunch of first aid kits. I'll forget otherwise, so there's no point in not. I think there should be, there is, one final audio diary. And we're pretty much done with Arcadia for audio diaries, I think.
What makes something like me? I look at genes all day long, and never do I see the blueprint of sin. I could blame the Germans, but in truth I did not find tormentors in the prison camp, but kindred spirits. These children I brutalized have awoken something inside that for most is beautiful and natural. To me is an abomination. My maternal instinct.
And then we sort of finish there on that sort of somber note from Tenenbaum as she's starting to realize that she has, you know, motherly feelings for the little sisters that she's, you know, essentially torn away their, you know, their humanity in many ways. Okay, so now we have farmers markets. So this section is a little shorter. There's a few sort of main areas, essentially, where you get primarily the water and B enzyme. Aside from that, it's quite a fun little section as you find our first sort of example of the.
Julie, my dear, I am trying to run a business here. You want to spend time with my honeybees? Well, I'm gonna have to start charging you for the pleasure. If I come out one more time and find you lolling out there amongst my hives, I'm grabbing my shotgun. As to your question, yes, my days in beekeeping school are a blur. but I do seem to remember something about that enzyme you keep blabbing on about.
So there we go, the first B sample.
I look at
Very important for us.
and never do I see the blueprints of sin. I could blame the Germans.
Okay, so that Houdini was attacking the...
Tormentors in the prison camp, but kindred spirits. These children I brutalized have awoken something inside that for most is beautiful and natural.
So there you get this sort of effect of the, once we now have this ability to essentially have far better ability to see where the Houdinis are going to appear. You see the, it's a very, very long, quite deliberate sort of effect now, as opposed to previously being quite,
You shall know I
oh,
am
come on. Proximity, mine. The turret is dead. I think it's for the better. I think there might be... How many? There's one little sister in the level, along with the director's commentary that we can try and find. We haven't really been finding those because obviously they are primarily linked with obviously just the this PS4 version, and so I don't actually know where they are. I've not like played this version of the game before, so. Okay, you. It's interesting that the blue does not override the enemy's version, which is kind of annoying. We'll just auto hack this then. Liquid nitrogen, electric buck, we can actually do with one more of those. We're fine for that. The new event we might eventually get around to upgrade. I still haven't actually, you know, invented anything. Once we get around to it, I'm sure it will. I'll see what, you know, sort of happens with that. What on earth's going on there? Sounds like chaos. The good sort of chaos too, the sort of chaos that means that you can get loads and loads of research points. Nope, we already have you. The chemical throw is a really interesting weapon, really, really good. It has this ability to essentially, it kind of makes Incinerate and to another, you know, further extent, Winter Blast, which is another plasmid that we could be getting right now. But it sort of makes those two pretty irrelevant, just because you've got a weapon that does the same thing, that freezes enemies and that you know, that freezes enemies and that sets them on fire. So certainly find it it's a very, very cool weapon and a very useful weapon at that. It does miles more damage than Incinerate would do as well, which is great. Always good news. More damage is always better. Okay, yeah, 2 pistol bullets, so we can't use. So there's a code there. I think we can hack it. I can't remember where you find it out. As we'll hear another Ryan one.
On my walk today, I had my first encounter with Terrible. He, the Toluca, in a foul-smelling diving suit, and she, an unwashed moppet in a filthy pink smock. Her pallor was off, green and morbid, and there was a rather unpleasant aspect to her demeanor, as if she were in an altogether different place than the rest of us. I understand the need for such creatures. I just wish they could make them more presentable.
just so effective being able to use the
One of the children came and sat in my lap.
telekinesis to kill these guys.
I push her off. I shout, "Get away from me!" I can see the Adam oozing out of the corner of her mouth. It's thick and green. Her filthy hair hanging in her face, dirty clothes, and that dead glow in her eye. I feel like I never felt before. In my chest, bitter, burning fury. I can barely breathe. And suddenly I know. It is not this child I hate.
Oh, we're gonna get some water. I did not realize there was some. So distilled water is found just there. I think you can eventually end up using the water and the various other things as sort of as invention items as well. So we can only get it if we go up, and we can't do that. So I will buy out this time. It's expensive, but 21, 12, and 8 batteries. We have 9. I don't know how many we have in our. I mean, I think what we can do is we can sort of just. I mean, we can buy 6, 8. We can make 6, 8, and 6. So I think we'll do this. One of those, one of those, one of those. That'll give us some. That gives us our trophy for inventing something as well, which is cool. So now what we can do is we can now head back through. And so, I mean, the area's a bit of a maze. There's sort of lots of different paths you can take. As we see the menu and stuff. Yeah, I don't know where the code. I'm sure you can hack this, but I don't know exactly where the code is. I'm sure it's written somewhere, because that's how almost all the codes in this game work. As we see our first narrow tile, they essentially accelerate. You know, they'll obviously accelerate the rate at which the flow goes. Oh, just on that. Being a fool. So we get the door, hack the door open, gives us a large amount of really quite rare ammo, which is excellent for us. There's the first aid kit, a lockbox also. That was very much worth going in here for. There's a lot of very valuable things in there. So maybe not. Maybe if it's not a sort of a story-based thing, maybe it won't do that. I don't know. It's difficult to say. So anyway, yeah. So again, it's sort of a mazy area, but I have a sort of a very fixed sort of route I've always taken through here. Usually coming down here, we then head up through. I check sort of around these areas up the top. Oh, damn. That's always annoying. We'll just heal. We should hack it, but, eh.
Wait a second. Dad? Dad! Find you, sinner!
That guy down there. There's a guy down there.
I heard that!
Okay, so the important thing about this area, just here, is that there are some cameras, and there are also some important turrets that we need to take care of pretty fast. Obviously, we managed to take care of the, so that should allow us to get some... yeah.
My life! Mine!
Let's finish that guy off. So it just depends where the turret is. I know there is one around here. There it is. Sort of depending on the way you enter the room, that turret can be an absolute pain. There is the Big Daddy for this area that we need to be careful about. If he's going to attack the Big Daddy, that would be great. Let's just see what's going on here. Did Houdini die? He did. So yeah, we haven't finished Little Sister. I was going to say, there's no way we've finished Little Sisters by now. There we get the bonus to our Eve, which is lovely. So if I got hit by that camera, he should do. There we go, lovely. And that should lead to chaos, pretty much. So we should just get bot after bot that we can just continually take pictures of and eventually get to max the security camera. There we go, lovely. So that is security bots done. Excellent. Can't remember, do we need to do cameras? We do need to do cameras. This guy's lost, what, half his health already? Okay, so that's that turret just there. So yeah, he's losing health pretty consistently, which is good. So we'll just quickly hack the security camera so it works for us as the Big Daddy goes down. Lovely. That's the beauty of the security system. Like, if you can use it against you, it does so much damage and it can be used so usefully for you. Rescue. Lovely. So that's our third and final Little Sister of this section, essentially, and that is probably what I would say is the best area to do the battle with the Big Daddy, is around this area, just because there is so much security around to help you out. Okay, so what we want to do is we just want to finish off these sort of... There are some small areas around here that we can finish off. That probably wasn't worth it, actually, but oh well. This should take us back to... Yeah, so this is, as you can see, the exit from up there. This is another exit into this sort of major, sort of main area. So yeah, this is sort of like a circular, central area with quite a large sort of... a lot of things going on, and I think once we do this sort of section, there's a few other sort of small crawl spaces. It's just things to check. Once we do that, I think we'll be done with this episode, and in the next episode we'll finish off with the winery.
I'm shocked by your proposal. If we were to modify the structure of our commercial plasmid line as you propose, to have them make the user vulnerable to mental suggestion through pheromones, would we not be able to effectively control the actions of the citizens of Rapture? Free will is the cornerstone of this city. The thought of sacrificing it is abhorrent. However, we are indeed in a time of war. If Atlas and his bandits have their way, will they not turn us into slaves? And what will become of free will then? Desperate times call for desperate measures.
So there we see Ryan's initial sort of reluctance to the pheromones that are allowing him to control the splicers, but in the end he decides that it needs to be done. It needs to be done for him to try and defeat Atlas and regain control of his city. So anyway, that, I think, is near enough everything in this area. We have this. I think we're pretty much done. I think we are. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode and hope you join me on the next where hopefully we'll finish off the farmers market and Arcadia.